What's up, guys? So, if you are currently experiencing a busy season, constantly dealing with distractions, trying to maintain a very consistent pattern in your eating, in your fitness, in your walking, in your activities, and you just can't seem to lock it down, today is for you. My name is Ryan Sanders. I'm the owner and lead coach of Project Fresh. And for over the last 13 years, I've helped people take control of their health, optimize their performance. And that can be athletics, that can be work, that can be whatever you need to be on point for, and build sustainable habits that actually stick. As a certified strength and conditioning specialist and a certified sports nutrition coach, I've worked with everyone from athletes to busy professionals. Ex-busy professional here, was a project manager after getting my civil engineering degree. Did 5 years of project management, was basically sat in the chair all of my 20s. So I know how that goes. But I coach these individuals through the science and the real world challenges of fitness and nutrition. So here I share the stories, the lessons, and the systems that make long-term wellness possible. So today we're talking about those seasons where you are constantly being upended by something happening. Now, sickness, emergencies, those kinds of things, yes, those happen. I've had them. I've had a lot of my clients have them happen. And so those you just kind of have to pause and address, right? It's a little harder to take care of yourself, but I will put this caveat in place. If you are a caretaker, I know the challenges and difficulties, having seen multiple members of my family go through it, me being and part of it to varying levels as well. More recently last summer for my mom. But that being said, there is a caveat there that you do want to still do your best to take care of yourself, even if it's just how you eat, how you manage the stress that comes with that. Activities like getting out for a walk or going to the Y and getting on a treadmill or a bike or taking a few laps in the pool, whatever will get you going, right? Go sled down the hill if you got a lot of snow. That's not the case here in Denver, but whatever it is to get you out, get the heart rate up, get some blood flowing, change the scenery, that is key for caretaking scenarios. So I'll just throw that caveat in there. That being said, excuse me, work gets busy. The kids have things that pile up, right? You add on to your list things you want to do outside of work and kids and time in marriage and all those things. It's very easy to be busy in the United States. In fact, it seems to be one of the key threads, pillars, if you will, of what it means to be American right now. I can't say I don't talk to people who aren't always saying they're busy. It's just like, seems to be a norm. Now, of course, there's a lot of reasons why that happens, but ultimately, with that being the case, what I want to talk about is being proactive. There isn't necessarily 3 points or 3 topics here today. It's just more one. And I'm just going to liken it to the training that we got on our nutrition side with our partnership. Shackley, one of our teams, or our team, our lead, his name is Rick. He talked about triggers. So if I'm going to send out some cards or some newsletters or something like that, I need to do those things before I do the rest of my day. So a current trigger for me, which I'm not always consistent at, but working towards, is when I wake up, before I talk to anybody else. I learned this from Pastor Chip Ingram and something I've been practicing on. Before I talk to anybody else, I want to talk to God. So this morning was a very brief 30-second, Lord, what do you want me to do today? Where do you want me to go? Who do you want me to talk to? And I'd like to do way more, because just like any other relationship, right? Drive-by conversations and such aren't, going to build anything, build a relationship. But that's a trigger, right? Do X before I go to Y. And so the same idea can take place in a couple different ways. If you know you're going to be busy, that's proactive, and that's what we're talking about, being proactive with your health in busy times. So it can be as simple as having high protein snacks available. Got 40 grams here in this sparkling protein. I've got another, what are these, 20 grams in this meal bar here. So right now I've got right next to me 60. And from the time I woke up this morning through now, it's just work. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've already been working 5 hours. Tomorrow, I've got 7 calls and a live client on my schedule for tomorrow. And so that day is going to be even busier than today. That's a good solid, probably 8, 9, 10 hour day, easy. And so my triggers are I've got my proteins, I've got my water, I had some little tea this morning. These are the things just to help me keep going, right? And in the sense too, I'm proactively planning, right? I'm proactively keeping myself moving towards my goal. Got to have over 200 grams of protein a day. I've lost some muscle mass I've recently found with our new Hume Pod scale that we have, primarily in the midsection, which is no surprise because the midsection hasn't been looking great the last number of months, 6 months at least. And so that is where I'm at. And I'm a professional. I train this. I'm certified. I've been doing this for over a decade. And it's very easy for us to just get into giving ourselves all to something and letting all the other things go. So that is proactive. I'm setting myself up to be consistent. And in the context of the trigger, those are, I think, a really good application taught by my lead Rick, that if I make sure that I do X before I get to Y, I can't do Y, which is more the desirable thing of the two. I don't always want to do push-ups in the morning. I don't always want to do roll-ups or go for a walk or whatever the physical thing might be. But I know I always want to have, just speaking hypothetically, I'm not a coffee drinker, but let's say you're a coffee or tea drinker. I want my coffee in the morning. It's comfort. It's something I enjoy. It helps me get going. Well, before you do that, do the harder thing, right? And some people have said eat the frog. That's a common book in business. I'm sure there's several others out there. But I hope you guys are getting the sense of what I'm aiming for here is that if you proactively plan and you set something in place, whether you call it a trigger or a plan or whatever it is that allows you to go do the other thing, the more enjoyable thing, you're more likely to do those things. Now, there's some proactivity here as well. It's very, very easy to get fatigued doing this because it requires discipline. Now, the cool thing is that it gets rid of the decision-making process. And I think that's one of the areas where we can fatigue ourselves very easily is the decision fatigue. If you have to decide what you're going to do for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, all day long, and you're already in a fast-driven or very, very busy work, let's say you're working with people, you got to make decisions on the spot to not react, to not be frustrated, to be understanding, all those kinds of relational challenges we have in work, right? Which is probably a harder part of work. I was a civil engineer. I was doing design for buildings and making sure that other people who were doing design for buildings were paying attention to what they were doing, meeting standards, getting the stamps, all those things, because there's implications. If you get something wrong, if someone's building something wrong in the field, when they're constructing it or lifting heavy pieces of glass and steel around, all those things aren't going the way they need to go. People could get hurt or worse, right? So as complex as all that could be, the logistics of it, it was far harder to work with people than it was to do all those things. So if you know what I mean by that, oftentimes working with people is harder than the work itself. So you're making those decisions, right? To keep things moving forward, keep the relationships going. That's a lot of decisions. That can be a hard day. And if that is your day in, day out, every day, Monday through Friday, maybe Monday to Saturday, maybe you're a Monday to Sunday person, you've got no breaks at all. When it comes to your fitness and your food and rest and stress relief, those are extra decisions that are easy to just toss over the shoulder because it's just too much effort. It's tired. All right. So these triggers, these preemptive, proactive decisions are going to really, really do a great deal of assist or help for you because you've already decided to do it, right? And then my wife likes to talk about Kobe, how he's got that video out there where he's talking about signing the contract with himself back when he was training and getting going. He's like, this summer, I'm going to go out, I'm going to run the track. If you guys remember those old Kobe commercials from the early 2000s, I think it was Nike, I believe, where he's out running the track. That's the season that he's talking about, where he's like, I signed a contract with myself. I'm going to show up. I'm going to work out. The second I wake up, I'm doing my first workout. I'll go home, rest, get some food, in my second workout. Kobe would work out 3, maybe 4 times a day on the off season, and then he would get his workouts in, during the season. So no wonder he was successful as he was, is because he gave his everything to it. Now, none of us, or very few of us, might be in that position to be giving our all to one thing. You've got family, you've got work, you've got name all the other things that occupy, church, obligations, connections, etc. All the things that occupy, if you got kids, right, and all their things. There's a lot that can fill up 168 hours in a week, right? That's how many hours we get in a week. So the proactivity is going to help you navigate and already have made those decisions where you just show up, the contract to sign. All right, got this. I'm going to drink it. It's been purchased. It's been invested in. I got this. I'm going to go ahead. Excuse me for eating on a live. But I have this food, right? I'm going to go ahead and eat it. I'm good to go. I've got my water. So if I need to get through some food or I'm on a call, I drink my water, so I'm good to go. For those of you who do a lot of talking in your work throughout the day, right? Having that water on hand helps, gets you away from the desk, you go to the bathroom. Those are all the decisions that were made, done. It's right here. Just do it and keep things moving. So that was a little bit too live of an example, but I just wanted to really stress that point. So in the comments for today, I want you guys to drop your trigger. What is it that you're going to do before you start, let's say for the day? I'm going to do X before I can have my cup of coffee. I'm going to do Y before I have my first call. I'm going to do Z before I talk to anybody at work, right? Or whatever it might be. And I want it to be tied specifically to your fitness and your nutrition. So is that going to be, I'm going to prep myself my first meal before I get on my work calls. Am I going to do a 30-minute workout before I start the rest of my day? Am I going to go for a 20-minute walk before I have my first call? Whatever it is, I want you guys to drop that in the chat today. Let us know what it is you're working on, and we'll keep an eye out so that we can go ahead and cheer you on, encourage you on, because those are the things that are going to make the difference for the long term. And those are the little movements and little decisions you make now that make the difference later. They make huge differences. It's not the workouts that make the difference. Those definitely help building strength. You're not going to build strength in 30 seconds. You can build strength in 10 minutes. So if you're doing something daily like rollouts, I've started to bring those back to help build up my midsection. Those 50 a day can make a huge difference for my core strength over the next 3 years versus not doing that for the next 3 years. That's a huge difference, right? And if you've ever heard this, I'll leave this analogy. If you are familiar with boating, with sailing, with flying, or with navigation systems, and how they use degrees to set their course, right? So turn. I don't even know the technical terminology, but let's turn to the right 1 degree, right? So if you travel 500 miles, what the distance from where you were going to be to where you end up is huge distance, right? And I'd have to break out my trig to tell you what that distance is to determine what that distance is. I could probably write it out and solve it here, but I'm not going to, just because that's just don't have the time for it. But trigonometry, so 500, so 500 squared equals 500 squared minus x squared, right? So that doesn't sound right. There's a degree that needs to be in there too. So already I'm trying to remember, but anyway, that distance is going to be off by quite a bit, right? And so that 1 degree could be in the direction you want to go, but inversely, that 1 degree could be way off from where you want to go to. And that's what makes the difference in the long term. So I'll leave you guys with that. Drop your comment. Let us know what your trigger is for today. And we'll see you next time for our next Monday Lunch Live here on YouTube, Project Fresh channel by me, Ryan Sanders.